Hello everyone. The next step in determining the CMOS inverter robustness is to identify the noise margin. So any inverter, any device, any logic gate has got certain noise margin. And when I say about noise margin, it's basically related to crosstalk noise and glitches. So the glitches and the crosstalk noise are a typical surprises that we get in lower technology node, and those can be reduced or those can be identified beforehand by identifying the noise margin of any of the logic gates. So we will try to understand what is noise margin, and then how does this CMOS inverter is a bit robust to the noise margin. So by varying the CMOS inverter switching threshold that we have learned in the past videos, how does the noise margin varies, and how does different sizes of CMOS inverter are robust to the noise margin. So before entering into the noise margin evaluation of the CMOS inverter, let's try to understand what noise margin is. So noise margin, now we'll draw some concepts over here. We'll draw some graphs over here that will help us to understand what noise margin is. Okay. So for example, if you take this inverter, when you take this inverter, you provide an input, you provide a logic low level input at the, you provide a logic low level at the input of the inverter, you get a logic high level. And conversely, when you provide a logic high level at the input of the inverter, you get a logic low level. Okay, it's very simple basic inverter, it's a basic inverter functioning. So if we try to plot this particular characteristics of the inverter in a graph, this is what we see. So for example, you have the V out axis over here, which is the Y axis. You have the V in axis, which is the X axis. Okay, so what it says is, what this particular phenomena says, when your input is 0, your output is high. So it says that whenever your input is 0, your output will be somewhere over here. Okay, and when your input is high, which is when your input is high, your output is 0. So when your input is over here, your output lies somewhere over here. So this is from 0 to 1, this is from 0 to 1. Okay, so let's try to plot that. So this graph says that when your input is 0, your output is VDD, and as you increase your input, go from 0 to positive value of VDD, your output comes down to 0 voltage. So what it says, this basically represents the behavior of an inverter. And at VDD by 2, at a voltage which is VDD by 2, or which is half the voltage, you see a switch happening. And that is quite obvious, because whenever you switch from whenever you switch your input from 0 to 1, your PMOS and NMOS behaves in a different manner. So we'll see that, or we have already seen that in some past videos. So this is the reason for that. You have a VDD by 2 crossing over here. So this, let me rephrase this graph. It says when your input is 0, your output is VDD. You move your input from 0, you increase your input from 0 towards VDD by 2 towards VDD, and as gradually you increase your input voltage, your output voltage starts to decrease. And finally, when your output voltage, when your input is at this area, your output voltage is completely 0. And that's because your NMOS turns on, PMOS turns off, and all those things we have. Okay, so what we'll do is, let's try to look into this particular area of the curve. So this particular area, if you see at exactly at VDD by 2, which is the input voltage at VDD by 2, there is a sudden shift of the output voltage from logic 1 to logic 0. And if you try to calculate the slope of this particular area, so what is slope? Slope basically says that the change in the output voltage divided by the change in the input voltage. So the change in the output voltage is from VDD to 0. Okay, but the change in the input voltage is 0, because at this point there is no change in the input voltage. Exactly at this particular voltage, your output drops from VDD to 0. This says that the slope of this particular line ideally should be infinite. So right now we are talking about an ideal case. We'll move into a practical scenario as well. Let's look into the ideal case first. So ideally it says that it should be having an infinite slope. Okay, so slope is basically dy by dx. Dy is basically difference in the y-axis by the difference in the x-axis. Over here you see the difference in the y-axis is VDD minus 0, because it drops from VDD to 0. So the dy, the change in the output voltage, is VDD. The change in the input voltage is 0, because everything happens at this point. And as a result of that, dy by dx is basically VDD upon 0, which is infinite. So that's why the slope of this particular curve is infinite. So now what we'll do is let's try to look into a more practical scenario over here. For example, we'll look into, we'll not jump into the exact practical scenario, but let's look into a more practical scenario over here. So what we'll do is, we know that the because of practical reasons of the NMOS and PMOS which is present in the inverter are nothing but the real devices. We have some real resistances and capacitances which are present in the inverter. So the curve won't be at VDD by 2. You won't see a infinite slope over here. Basically, you won't see a straight line over here, but the line will be somewhat sloping over here. Okay, and this is because you have some finite value of resistances and capacitances, and hence the output will take some time to move down from VDD to zero voltage, and it won't exactly go to zero voltage again because of the practical scenarios of the NMOS and PMOS. So it won't drop exactly to zero, but somewhere around zero. Okay, so now let's take this particular thing as an example. Let's try to infer some things. Now if you look the slope over here, if you calculate the slope of this point, it's a finite slope. And why it's finite? So basically, again, if we calculate the slope, it's like change in the output voltage, which is from VDD to some voltage which is more than zero, divided by change in the input voltage. So it's like lies somewhere over here, let's say VDD by 4. Okay, or let's say 1/4 of VDD minus 3/4 of VDD. So it has some value, it is not infinite, it's a finite slope. So basically a system with a finite slope is what we are looking for, because every system has got its own resistances, has got its own practical scenarios, and as a result of that, the output drop will not be instant, but it will be a gradual, and as a result of that, you have a finite slope. But this curve still looks more decent, isn't it? Because the reason is we have taken a case where the resistances drop in a linear fashion, the capacitances are all linear and everything. We have looked into, still we have not entered into a more practical scenario. We are somewhere in between ideal and practical. So, and in a practical scenario, you have a finite slope. That's what we have to take, or we have to infer from this particular slide. So now if you look into this curve, there are a few things that we have to infer from this particular curve. If you see the input low voltage, or if you see a voltage range till which your output voltage remains high, it stops at this point. So basically, till your input voltage is from 0 to this particular value, which is VIL, your output voltage will be at high, which is VOH. Okay, so this is what it says. If your input voltage lies in the range of 0 to VIL, or VIL could be, let's say, 1/4 of VDD. So whenever your input voltage lies in this range, whenever your input voltage which you are providing over here, it lies somewhere between 0 and VIL, it should not be exactly equal to 0. If it lies in this range 0 and VIL, you expect your output to be high, which is VDD, or which is VOH. We'll come to more practical way of representing VOH, but it says that the graph says that if your input voltage lies somewhere over here, your output is high. That's what the very basic thing to infer from this particular graph. This is about the input low voltage, and there is one more thing. There is something called as VIH. So VIH says that any voltage at the input level, if there is any voltage which lies above VIH and VDD, your output is expected to be low. Your output is expected to be VOL. Okay, so this is what this is a thing that has to be inferred from this particular graph. So what we'll do is we'll revise this once more, and since I'm already running out of time, what we'll do, we'll take this up in the next video and also talk about this and try to infer the values or infer the formulas for noise margin in the next video. Thank you.